Thank you for joining me again. Moving on to the first scenario within Proxima Centauri event horizon. It's called the Centaurian Stronghold. And so I've set up a four-player map here. The first thing you'll notice is the center hex has become the Centaurian Stronghold, which all the factions are going to be going against within this scenario. There's three modes of play. There's a fully cooperative mode, a semi-cooperative mode, and then also a solitaire variant. The main difference between the fully cooperative and semi-cooperative mode is there's quite a bit of changes to the different stages within the game in the fully cooperative play, and I'll go over those. Semi-cooperative, in both cases, in the fully cooperative and semi-cooperative, all players are going against this center threat, right? But with the semi-cooperative play, there's still player versus player combat, and you're ultimately competing with each other to take this out and vie for victory points. So the player with the most victory points at the end will win the game. In fully cooperative mode, however, we're all in this together. We can occupy the same spaces with our ships without having player versus player combat. We will fight together in terms of the Centaurian resistance. We can fight together against the Centaurian Stronghold, and we'll go over that. But so we're all working together. Now, the gist of this scenario is the Centaurian Stronghold is going to be spawning squadrons, which are different than the Centaurian resistant ships. And these squadrons are, you need to take them out before you can actually attack this center hex. In addition to that, based on the number of players, there's going to be a number of levels on the stronghold that determines how tough it is, so to speak. So you need to get through all of those levels. Some other notes about the scenario for the fully cooperative play is you no longer use the C token when you're voting on political cards. You will just use the A and B tokens within the game to vote on the actual political cards, and you will no longer pad your votes with these CP tokens. Ultimately, you're all going to work together to decide what's best for the cause with the cards that come up. Again, with the fully cooperative play, there are no victory points for players, so any cards that refer to losing VP or gaining VP are handled with resources instead. So if you're ever to lose VP, you choose what you want to lose, but bottom line, you lose 5 CP, 2 Actinium, or 2 Phasium. If you're going to gain VP from any card or event, you'll gain 3 CP, 1 Actinium, or 1 Phasium. I should point out something with Edge of Extinction. This is fully compatible with Edge of Extinction. However, with the fully cooperative play, you cannot use the technology commandos from the Solaris Confederation. Ultimately, what that technology offered you was the option to destroy other populations on planets. And then any technology that's related to WMDs, player combat, or end-of-game VP are not used at all. The WMD stage is completely void within this mode with the fully cooperative mode. As I mentioned, I set up a 4-player game here. I randomly selected the factions by rolling a die to determine what factions are going to play. I recorded that too, but my videos are probably long enough for you to sit through that as well. So what I ended up with was down here Terra Nova for the Arctic Dominion, Inti, the Solaris Confederation, up in the upper left Gaia for the Sirius Theocracy, and then Apollo with Blackwater in the upper right. You randomly select the turn order at the beginning of the game as well, which again I rolled to determine that, and the Arctic Dominion ended up as the first player, the Chancellor, and then second player is, going clockwise here, is going to be the Solaris Confederation. Now, every round, instead of any elections, there are no elections anymore in this mode of play. The cards will simply go to the player on your right. So Blackwater will be the first player next round, and as a result, the Arctic Dominion becomes the second player, the Vice Chancellor, third and fourth player, right? So this is always going to go to the player to your right in each round. In regard to the modules from Event Horizon, they're all compatible with the exception of Proxima Centauri, with the star as the center hex. That's module 6. It can't be used for obvious reasons, right? We have the Stronghold as a center hex. The Centaurian Resistance and the Centaurian Outposts, where there are outposts on the actual planets, are required for this particular scenario. You can choose any of the other ones to play or not play. In this playthrough, I'm going to add in bonus actions. The exploration module, as you can see, a lot of these hexes are turned face down, so I will be using exploration. New planets have been shuffled into this map as well. Jump gates, sure. I mean, they're available. I don't know how much use they'll have, but I have added that as an option. Communication satellites I'm adding as well. One thing to point out though with this scenario, the communication satellites have no benefit whatsoever when you're going against combat with the warship squadrons that are going to be coming out of this center hex, or against the Stronghold, unless you research the radar technology, which is part of the base game. So if you do research that, you will get benefit from the communication satellite. So I am going to add those as well. So the energy barriers module I'm not going to use. I think that's more applicable for player versus player. I don't think that's going to have any bearing here. And then finally the leaders module, I am adding that. With this scenario, however, you need to remove the celebrities, diplomat, politician, strategist before you distribute your leaders. So I have removed those and chose 2 for each faction. Just to point out, here's what the factions ended up with. The Admiral is with the Arctic Dominion. The Solaris Confederation ended up with the Tactician. The Sirius Theocracy ended up with the Commissioner. And then finally, Blackwater ended up with the Peacemaker for their starting leader. All that remains now before we start turn 1 is to choose the starting text for each one of the factions. So this is following the standard length game setup for Edge of Extinction. And what it states is you have up to 19 CP to spend. You do, however, have to choose exactly 5 technologies. So that makes it kind of a balancing act. You can't just choose 2 and spend all the 19. And in addition to that, any one single technology cannot be more than 13 CP at this stage to choose these techs. Now, I haven't played this scenario before, but I'm thinking offense is going to be key in that squadrons are going to be coming out of the Stronghold immediately because we're playing with Edge of Extinction. It's going to be, we have the Centaurian Resistance out there already. We need to get in there as quickly as possible because if the last warship squadron is placed on the board, the game's over. So we can't let that happen. And the only way to sort of prolong that is by taking out those squadrons. So we need to rush in pretty quickly. There's not a lot of time to try to develop the planets on the edge of the board and kind of take your time. This is going to be pretty quick, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, let's go through the different factions. I'll start with player one, the Arctic Dominion, and just go around based on the turn order and kind of tell you where I'm going with the initial builds for their technologies. In the comments, let me know. Let me know what you think of these build outs, and we'll see where we end up. So for the Arctic Dominion, for the base technologies, I'm going to go with the plasma cannon for 2 CP, the fusion drive for 4 CP, advanced trading for 4 CP. From the faction specific technology, I'm going to choose expert banking. And then finally from Event Horizon, I'm going to pick the sector scan, since we're playing with the exploration module. For the Solaris Confederation, I'm going to go with, from the base game, the SSL cannon for 11 CP, advanced banking for 4 CP, landing maneuver for 1 CP, basic research for 1 CP, and then finally from Event Horizon, the sector scan for 2 CP. For the Serious Theocracy, I'm going to go with from the base game, the plasma cannon for 2 CP, the electric magnetic shield for 1 CP, the landing maneuver for 1 CP, from the faction specific, from Edge of Extinction, I'm going to go with the Tachyon Scanner for 12 CP. And then from Event Horizon, again, I'm going to go with Sector Scan for 2 CP. And finally, for Blackwater, from the base game, I'm going to go with a Fusion Drive for 4 CP, an MPG Shield for 7 CP, Advanced Banking for 4 CP, Plasma Cannon for 2 CP, and then finally from Event Horizon, Sector Scan for 2 CP. Alright all, I'm going to wrap up this intro video. Be back soon to get turn 1 rolling, edited and uploaded. And I will see you soon. Thanks.